So when you want to make a style, you have to make a style sheet. We also did this in Dreamweaver, so this should be pretty familiar to you. So we make HTML documents, but how do they get their colors and their formats? They get their colors and their formats through an external style sheet. So we have to make a new document called a style sheet. The way we do that is File, New. File, Save As. Make sure you're saving this in the same folder as your .htmls. So you're going to go to either Web3 caret files or Web1 and find your name, and that's where you're saving all your files. I'm going to save mine, I already pre-did it, as my first name, last name, first style sheet .css. The emphasis here is on .css. Do not save this as an HTML. Okay, so now it's saved as a style sheet. So just like we did in Dreamweaver, we can set formats for items that are in our documents. And it saves time. Remember, we said we use style sheets because it keeps all of our pages consistent. We can define the style one time in a style sheet, connect it to all of our HTML pages, and all of our pages will look the same. So here's an example. The body tag and the bracket. Okay, we key inside the brackets. All right, so you have to put the tag that you're defining, then you have your brackets, and inside the brackets, you define that tag, just like we did in Dreamweaver. So we want to say background color, and we're going to pick a color name. So remember we talked about you could go to W3C schools and you could do web safe color names. And that's where I'm going to be getting my colors. Okay. This is my favorite site. So what you can do is you can go down through here and see. Let's say I want to use Alice Blue as a color name. Okay. Now I could use the hexadecimal. I'm just going to use the words Alice Blue because that's easier for me to remember. So I'm saying any HTML document that this style sheet is attached to, always make the background color Alice Blue. Let's do one more because we've done this before. So we should be familiar with it. Color colon. This is going to be the text color. So now I'm going to go back to my W3C schools. And I'm going to pick a text color. Remember, we want usually a light background and a darker text so that it shows up. So I'm going to scroll on down. And let's say I want to use this dark cyan. So I'm going to go back to my caret and I'm going to key in dark cyan. Now, how do we get this CSS to connect to our HTML pages? Now we have to link them up. All right. Now, before we go any further, before we link them up, I want to make sure you understand a couple of things and we'll link them up in the next video. You have your tag. This is the tag. For the body tag only, we always want a background color. That's the attribute. And this is the value, Alice Blue. Before we start a new attribute and value, we have to put a semicolon in. Now we have a new attribute of color. This is going to affect the text color. And we have a value of dark cyan. Notice before I start any new attribute and value within the brackets of a tag, I always have to put my semicolon in. I do not use more than one left bracket and one right bracket per tag. All of the definitions go inside one left bracket and one right bracket. Don't start and end brackets for each attribute and value. only put a bracket at the beginning, and at the end, you divide your attributes and values with the semicolon. Now, next video, I will show you how to connect this to the HTML documents. So I'm going to save it for now.